Special interview for Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Professor David Golinkin, president of the Schechter Institute in Jerusalem, spoke to reporter Nomi Segel about cultural customs of the high holidays. In the first half of the interview, he addresses psalm recitation and special greetings of the period. The interview was recorded on a weekday.
The first custom is specifically an Ashkenazic custom, which is to recite Psalm 27, the David Hashem Ori, beginning on the first day of Elul until Hoshana Rabbah, which is a very long period of time, morning and evening for about 53 days. And interestingly enough, this custom, which is so important for Ashkenazic Jews, only began in the 18th century. It's first mentioned by Rabbi Yaakov Emden around the year 1745. And the question, of course, is why do we recite Psalm 27 at this time of year? The psalm says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid?" Now, one of the first rabbis to mention the custom, Rabbi Shabtai Rashkov, he gives an involved Kabbalistic explanation that the psalm mentioned God's name 13 times. That's not very convincing. A more common explanation is that of Rabbi Margaliot at the beginning of the 19th century. He refers to a midrash which says, "The Lord is my light on Rosh Hashanah, Hashem Ori b'Rosh Hashanah, and my salvation on Yom Kippur, V'ishi b'Yom Kippur." So since the midrash connects between Psalm 27 and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, therefore we recite this psalm at this time of year. A third popular explanation is provided by Rabbi Chaim Kival in his book The High Holy Days, and he notices that one of the last words in the psalm is "Lulei ha'amanti v'rot betuv Hashem be'eretz chayim," had I not the assurance that I would enjoy the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. The word lulei is the word Elul spelled backwards, and therefore he says we recite this psalm during Elul because of the word lulei at the end of the psalm. However, I think the most convincing explanation is the pshat, is the simple meaning of the words of the psalm, because at this time of year Jews are in trepidation, they're afraid for their lives, and therefore this psalm is a supplication to God. The psalm says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice, do not hide your face from me. Hope in the Lord, be strong and let your heart take courage. Hope in the Lord." So I think that the reason Ashkenazic Jews recite Psalm 27 at this time of year is as a psalm of encouragement and hope as we are judged before the heavenly throne in the year to come. The second custom that I would like to discuss is the way we greet each other on Rosh Hashanah or between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And here all of the various customs of Jewish ethnic groups are based on a passage that's found in the Talmud in the tractate of Rosh Hashanah, folio 16b. There Rabbi Yochanan says as follows, "Shlosha Sfarim niftachim b'Rosh Hashanah." 3 books are opened up on Rosh Hashanah. One for the entirely wicked, one for the entirely righteous, and one for the Benoniyim, for the middle-of-the-road people. Tzadikim Gmurim, the truly righteous, are immediately sealed in the book of life. The truly wicked are immediately sealed in the book of death. But the Benoniyim, the middle-of-the-road people, which is most of us, our fate hangs in a balance between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and if we have the merit, we are inscribed in the book of life, and if not, we are inscribed in the book of death. This passage in the Talmud led to one of the most well-known Rosh Hashanah customs, which is the way we greet each other on Rosh Hashanah. So, for example, Rabbi Moshe Isserles says in the Shulchan Aruch that on the eve of Rosh Hashanah we say to one another, "L'shana tova tikatev," right? May you be written for a good year, because it means we're literally going to be written in the book of life. Other commentators add, "L'shana tova tikatev v'techatem," that may we be written and inscribed in the book of life. And one of the rabbis in the 19th century says, "Tikatev v'techatem la'altar l'chaim tovim." May you be written and inscribed immediately in the book of life, because if you're inscribed immediately, it means that you are one of the righteous people described in the passage by Rabbi Yochanan. Interestingly enough, among other Jewish ethnic groups, there are variations on this theme. For example, the Jews of Algeria say, "Tizku l'shanim rabot," may you merit to live many years. And the friend replies, Tisku v'tarichu yamim, may you have the merit and may you live many days. The Jews of Yemen say, Tikatev b'sefer ha'chayim u'v'sefer ha'zikaron, may you be written in the book of life and in the book of remembrance. And his friend replies, Ve'ata tikatev b'sefer ha'chayim u'v'sefer ha'zikaron, and may you be written in the book of life and the book of remembrance. When we get to the period of time between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the Ashkenazic custom is to say Gemar Chatima Tova, or in Ashkenazit, Gemar Chasima Tova, which means may you finally end up being inscribed in the proper fashion, in a good fashion. And finally, after Yom Kippur, even though the books have supposedly been sealed, there is a belief that until Hoshana Rabbah you can still be inscribed in the book of life. And that's why the Ashkenazim say in Yiddish, a good kvittel, which means a good note, or Gemar Tov, may you have a good ending. And a good kvittel, a good note, is based on a passage in the Zohar which says that there are pitkin, that there are notes, heavenly notes, which can still inscribe us in the book of life up to Hoshana Rabbah, which is the last day of Sukkot. So we see here different variations of this custom, how we greet each other on Rosh Hashanah and between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and after Yom Kippur, and they are all based on the passage in the Talmud which says that there are heavenly books where it is inscribed who will live and who will die.
And that was Rabbi Professor David Golinkin.